All right, if you got something going on in your life, go ahead and send that drama to us, man. That is our lifeblood right here. And in this case, she and her boyfriend planned a trip to the beach, and then he invited his sister and her kids to join them. How does she, uninvite them is what she wants to know. If you early Bert Show listeners want to get in on this, when we get these emails, they're really asking you guys because they know that you're smarter than us. So you can hit us up at 1-855-BERT-SHOW. Mo's got the email.
Help! I'm so disappointed, and I'm trying really hard to cheer myself up. However, I don't think it's possible. My boyfriend and I were planning our very first beach trip for next week. Not only is it our first trip to the beach, but it is our very first trip at all, unless you count the overnight stay in Alabama for his cousin's wedding. I don't count that. So for the last several months, we have been known that we'd both be off of work next week. So we decided to plan a trip to the beach. Somehow, my boyfriend got lucky and found an Airbnb right on the beach that was somehow more affordable than a smaller Airbnb a block away.
Huge find right there. If you go on vacation and you find something like that, you actually will refresh the page going, I don't believe my eyes. This can't be. What's wrong with this house?
So we ended up renting this house that is much bigger than we need, but comes with an awesome view and the convenience of walking right out onto the beach. I cannot tell you how excited I have been to have an entire week to just relax and focus on each other. Well, over the weekend, we were at his niece's birthday party. His sister was talking about how she really needed a vacation, but as a single mom, money has been really tight with inflation, and she doesn't think she can afford to go anywhere with the kids. So, without even talking to me first, he invited her and the kids to join us on our trip next week and stay in the house with us. Apparently, she has already agreed and is thankful.
Oh, man. And if you got kids and you are looking for a vacation and somebody offers you up a beach house where you are literally right on the sand and don't have the hassle of having to take all the toys and everything else from a couple of blocks away, they were so excited, I bet, or are so excited.
But here's the thing. I don't want her and the kids to go. I was really looking forward to this trip and need it just as badly. In fact, she and the kids have been on a vacation more recently than I have. Plus, I really needed the time alone with them. I haven't said anything because I didn't know how to. But every day closer to the trip and every detail that is getting adjusted for their sake is making me so resentful. How do I get our trip back and keep them from going?
I wonder if the window is closed even to
It is.
tell the other family that they can't go at this point. Sometimes I don't know how people hide their reactions. She was so excited about going on this trip, and when dude comes back and says, "Oh, our family's going to be there," and my knee-jerk reaction would be just to get into it right there.
So for me, the window is closed just because, you can tell kids, hey, we're going to the beach, and then tell them, no, we're not going to the beach. But I wouldn't want to do that to his niece and nephews. I wouldn't want to punish the kids because I view what he did as a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were her, I would be honest with him and sit him down and be like, hey, I was really looking forward to having one-on-one time with you next week, having some R&R. I had built this up in my head. My expectations were so high. And you went and invited your sister and her kids without even consulting me.
Mm-hmm.
And that really hurt. So they've been invited. They're going to come. The vibe of the trip has changed. But when we do this in the future, you at least owe it to me to run it by me before you make a decision like that.
You would think that would be pretty obvious. But if she doesn't set those boundaries now.
That's why you got to say something now.
Right. And he's probably thinking, because this is his family, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's his sister. She's a single mom.
Yeah.
Money's tight. It's, his niece.
So my ex-wife and I had a situation like this years and years and years ago, very similar. And she invited her brother. I don't remember if it was a vacation or just to our house for the weekend. And I'm like, and I love her brother. That dude, we've had a lot of really great times together. But I just felt like, man, how about letting me, asking me if it's okay if they're coming over this weekend? And her point was, this is my brother, man. I shouldn't have to ask about that. That's my family.
But you should, and I get that because Bart and I have had that discussion recently because I was the same way. I took for granted, I took his kindness for granted that he was just going to say yes. So then I just stopped running things by him, and that really hurt his feelings. And he told me, he goes, I just want to be a factor. You know what I mean? I
right.
just want to know that I'm my input is of value. And yeah, I'll say yeah, but it's just nice to be asked.
He just wants to be Rhode Island. I know that we don't have a whole bunch of votes here, but we do.
But at least I get one.
At least we get something in the Electoral College.
And I really took that to heart. And so now, before I ask anybody or do anything, it's it's just common courtesy.
All right, so really quickly, we all agree on that. But at this point, we're saying you got to suck it up and let the family go now at this point, because that family is so excited now. And when you got kids, you don't agree with that.
I don't think she has to do that. I mean, I think she should sit him down immediately and tell him. And I think if he decides to make that decision of telling them, hey, guys, I got ahead of myself and I went a little too far, we got to figure this out, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, here we are on Thursday. They probably have been planning for it. And when you've got kids, you got to make a lot of arrangements. So now here you are a day or two before you're supposed to leave, and to say you guys can't go, I think that window is closed.
It might be, but that's his decision to make.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched? Well, you can get a lot more of The Bert Show for free on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.